Khanna, Democratic Congressman, California. We'll come back to David and Geraldo.
They will be releasing in the weeks ahead. It is disappointing that they haven't been able to release these documents on time in compliance with the law. While it's clear they're trying, at the very least, to meet the deadline, they should have been able to do more. And if they couldn't do it, they should have met with the survivors' lawyers or with the Oversight Committee or with Massey and me to explain why not. But at this point, what we need is a clear timeline of when the rest of the documents will be released and an explanation for why they did not release all of them today. If it is that they need more time to review everything for appropriate protection of victims, they need to explain that. But they need to give dates of when the rest of these documents will be released. The second thing is that some of the documents, I've just been scanning them, have very heavy redactions. This including documents for which judges ordered released, like the grand jury testimony in New York. They owe the Congress and the American public an explanation for every redaction. That I didn't see published on the DOJ page, but the law is very clear that any redaction has to be justified in writing. They need to do that. Third, from the survivors who I've talked to, they are appreciative that finally they're being heard, they're being seen, and documents are coming out. But what they care most about is that the documents come out that expose the rich and powerful men who either raped them, abused them, or were at these sex parties watching them be abused. There are many of these rich and powerful people. They showed up at these parties, and they knew there were 16, 17-year-olds there. They want those names out. They want that information out. Specifically, they want the indictments drafts out, the initial indictment of Jeffrey Epstein in Florida. They want documents out in terms of the FBI witness interviews with a lot of these rich and powerful men. We will see if any of the documents that have been released are those documents. If not, we're going to continue to push for the actual documents which the American public wants to see. Look, the Justice Department has very little credibility. Pam Bondi said months ago there was nothing more to release. Now they've contradicted themselves. Obviously, there was more to release, given that they're releasing hundreds of thousands of new documents. Now, the question is, how do we believe them? The only way they're going to have trust is if they take an open press conference, they explain to the American public what documents they've released, what they're redacting, why they've redacted that, what documents they continue to plan to release, and when we expect to get all of the documents that the law calls for. Thomas Massey and I will continue to explore all options to fight to make sure that they comply with the law, whether that is holding people in inherent contempt, recommending people for prosecution, recommending impeachment, or private lawsuits. I was encouraged initially when Todd Blanche said that we were going to have hundreds of thousands of documents released. So far, I have not seen much new. That doesn't mean we have, obviously, we're having a lot of lawyers go through them. I'm hopeful they will be some new evidence about the rich and powerful men who abused these survivors. And that is what we're going to look for to see whether even the initial batch is in good faith or whether this is more stonewalling on the Justice Department's part. With that, I'm happy to open it up to questions.
For anyone who has a question, can you please just raise your hand in the Zoom and I will call on you in order.
So there's a couple of things that are interesting to me there when what Khanna said. I think the comment at the end, so far I haven't seen much new, probably is the headline.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.